Today we're going to dive into the world of reissues. Why are some reissues just way rarer than original first pressings? Join me on the journey.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, yes, that's right, Elvis Presley.
Hi there, welcome to Your Elvis Guide. I'm Alexander, your host, and thank you for the very warm welcome I received after picking up this channel after 5 years of absence. It was unbelievable to see the last video do that great, and I'm anxious to share some of the treasures I found over the years with you. And starting today, because today I'm going to dive into the world of reissues. Why are some reissues far more rarer than the original first pressings? Of course, that is because the runs were far smaller than the initial runs of the original records. So that makes reissues highly collectible. And I'm going to share 12 reissues with you that are very nice collectibles, and just talk a little bit about the labels and the vinyl and the years that they originate from. So join me on the trip. And if you like this channel, please subscribe. And if you have any comments, please put them below in the comment section. That's something you have to say when you're on YouTube. But I just hope you enjoy this channel. The very first record is this 1961 album, Something for Everybody. I hope it can show you without a glare. This is how I pack my records, by the way. I put them in this poly sleeves with they can open and close. And I always put the record and the inner sleeve outside of the original sleeve, so you won't get any ring wear or any other damage to the record. So I'm pretty careful with that. And this very, very beautiful Something for Everybody. It came out on the black RCA label back in 1961, but this is a 1971 reissue on the orange Flex label. You can demonstrate. It's not very flexible, the record strip, but it's flexible. And RCA in 1971 came with the Dynaflex records, of course, very thin vinyl, probably because of the fact they had to save a buck on producing vinyl. There also was the oil crisis in the mid 70s, so that could have something to do with it. But it's the origin of this album. But then again, it's very hard to find this album in this condition on any of the 70s labels. The orange label on rigid vinyl, the orange label on flex vinyl, the tan version. It's also very rare. Something for everybody. Probably my favorite Elvis album, from Elvis in Memphis. This one is from after Elvis died, and it is a reissue from 1977. Moody Blue was one of the first records to appear on the AFL1 label, and the AFL1 label after Moody Blue and the fact that Elvis died, they started to reissue the entire Elvis catalog on the AFL1 label from 1977 all the way into probably 1979 or something. So you can see it's on the black 1977 RCA label, and you can see the AFL1 prefix. If you want to see a very good show on the AFL1 prefixes, I recommend the Collecting the King channel from Robert Alanis. And he has an entire episode on this prefix, and I can highly recommend it. It's one of my favorite YouTube channels when collecting Elvis records is concerned. I will drop a link in the description with this video, so you can find the link. This record, you know, of course, it's How Great Thou Art, but I made a mistake. No, I didn't. We all know the cover, but I can search. This is the original. Oh, I love those price stickers. They're so great. This one is in shrink with the price sticker. But of course, this is the back of the album. I put it in on purpose like this because I wanted to show you the Grammy Award hype sticker, which is printed on the sleeve, on the back of the sleeve. Why not on the front of the sleeve? That would be like far more a marketing tool, in my opinion. But RCA did it on the back, like they also had some hype stickers on the back. And this is on the rigid vinyl, and then the orange deep groove label. This is from 1968, a reissue. So it's a year after Elvis won the Grammy Award. And reissues with this Grammy Award sign are very hard to find. But they're there, so it's somewhat harder to find. It's probably more accurate. Of course, we all know this one from 1960, GI Blues. Again, a great soundtrack album. This one is from 1975. You can see the typical 1975 inner sleeve. And it's on the beautiful 10 label. Like you can see. Hope you can see it without the glare. And those soundtrack albums often are very hard to find on the 10 labels because they did very limited run, and especially the 10 label was only in use for a year, basically 1976, because in 1975 they started the 10 label, and in 1976 already they switched to the 1977 black label. So it's very, very hard to find some records in this 10 label format. Speedway, we know, of course, was first released in 1968, right before RCA switched to the orange label. This is the first edition. And you can see with the bonus photo and the hype sticker as well. Well, on the black label white top. But apparently that record sold out very quickly, or the run was quite limited. So in 1969, 1970, they needed a reissue, and that one is printed on the orange label, orange deep groove label, and it's very rigid vinyl. You can see the typical 1969 inner sleeve, and the bonus photo was also included for this run. So I'm very happy to catch this one, because it's not so hard to catch a black white top with bonus photo, but the complete set on orange label is quite hard to get. The runs from reissues were always more limited than those of originals, and the same goes for this great album. Girls, Girls, Girls. You can see the 1967 inner sleeve. So, on what label would that record be? Yes, I hope you got it right. On the black label white top. Again, a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful copy. Nice shiny vinyl. Not a probably has never been played. It's great. So, gotta be very careful putting it back. Okay, Elvis, A Lover from Hawaii. We all know that Elvis, A Lover from Hawaii was released in April 1973 in quadraphonic sound, 4-channel sound. It was quite rush released, so the audio mix wasn't great, but it was on the main label for the main public. It was released in quadraphonic, but similar. But next to that, RCA also released a stereo version on the orange Dynaflex label, and that orange label had a very different. That stereo version had a very different matrix number. It's R213736. It was a book club edition, so I imagine you could only buy that on mail order, and then you got the stereo version. Now this is a reissue of that book club edition on the tan label, like you can see. Yeah. So it's a reissue from 1975-76 from the book club, and that's quite rare, actually. From 1971 is this reissue of Elvis Is Back. Well, together with From Elvis in Memphis. Is this my favorite Elvis album? I've got so many favorite Elvis albums. What am I talking about? But it's a great album, and Elvis Is Back. You can see the different cover design. It's from 1971. You can see that by the typical 1971 inner sleeve. All probably also had to do with cost and budget, and it's black and white, so printing was a lot cheaper than was done in the 60s. And this one is on the orange label, and yeah, it's flexible. You can hear that, although not too flexible, but it is. Makes the sound. In 1959, RCA released for LP fans only, and on that album, the album of course was meant to represent Elvis while he was on duty in Germany, and there were several tracks like the Sun tracks, That's All Right, that were never released on vinyl, and so also in the 60s that album was regularly re-released. And this, you can see that in 1964 they adjusted the cover design. This is a 1964 mono release. 1964 inner sleeve. And it's on the black label white top. And you can see, I hope I can show you. Yeah, like that. It says monaural. So monaural had replaced mono on the label. But of course it's the same one channel sound. Okay. This one is a real strange find. I was on holiday in Sweden, of all places, and well, you always have to look around for Elvis records. I went to a second-hand shop in Göteborg, and for €8 I took this one. It's still in shrink, and it's funny enough a Pulto on the orange label, rigid vinyl, and orange deep groove label. So some of the soundtrack albums on the orange label are very, very hard to get. I know in 1968 they re-released It Happened at the World Fair, but It Happened at the World Fair didn't sell at all in 1963. So they just had a very small run re-releasing it in 1968. So it's impossible to find. And same for Double Trouble as well. But if you have a copy of one of those, that's marvelous. That's a collector's dream. This one comes close. This one comes close. Speaking of a collector's dream, there's one record or one label that we haven't discussed yet, and that's the 1963 mono stereo label. And I here have a copy, a reissue of Blue Hawaii, a reissue of Blue Hawaii. And like it was only released in 1963. And what's so special about this one is that it has the Rocka Hula Hype sticker. And you can see it's on the silver label with mono, and that's the label that was only used as a transition label from the long play to the 1964 design. It was only used in 1963. So those 1963 releases with mono or stereo like this on the label are very, very, very hard to find, and you pay serious dollars to add them to your collection. On eBay, just a collector sold off all his mono and silver mono, silver stereo labels, and I think I'm not even exaggerating that I say that the average was $300-400 per record for this label. So it's quite spectacular, actually. I don't have too many of them. My final record that I want to show you is a record in the same price range. Of course, when you find it mint, but it's Elvis Kissing Cousins, and I hope you already see a difference on the cover. There's no cast photo. I can show you. This is the original. Be careful. This is the original. You can clearly see the cast photo. My assumption is that RCA printed covers without the cast photo, and then there came a correction, and they had to stock all the covers without the cast photo. And but they're not like they didn't throw it away. They just kept it for the 1964 and 1968 rerun. And so most of the covers without a cast photo you will find on 64 or 1968 labels. There are some, I've seen some on the 1963 issues. But this one is from, you can see the typical 1968 in the sleeve. So this one is from 1968, 1969, 1970, I would guess. It's on the orange label. It's rigid vinyl. It's very rigid. So this one is also impossible to find, since Kissing Cousins wasn't a big seller in 1963, 1964, and so the reissue runs were very, very small, so very, very hard to find. And I'm so lucky that I both own. Oh, there it is. The orange rigid, the orange label rigid version, and also the orange label on the flexible vinyl. And you can see by then RCA changed the layout of the. By 1971, RCA changed the layout of the cover of the sleeve and added the RCA Victor, the 70s RCA Victor logo. Okay, that's my episode. for today. I hope you enjoyed the great collectibles I shared with you. I've got a great episode coming up. I've got a package from the USA coming up, and I will do an unboxing because there were some very special records in that package, and I will tell you a little bit more how I collect my records from the US, because I'm from the Netherlands, and sending each record from the US to the Netherlands is very expensive, and the records are expensive, so that would cost me a fortune. But I will tell a little bit also about how I operate and how I keep the costs small. That will be for a future video as soon as I receive my package. For now, thank you again for watching. I hope you keep enjoying my videos. And if you've got any suggestions, please write them down in the comment section below. And see you next time.
Elvis has left the building. I've told you absolutely straight up to this point, you know that he has left the building. He left the stage and went out the back with the policeman, and he is now gone from the building.